Go! You're in big trouble, though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
No. What are you? I'm the night guard.
The disease. I'm the cure.
The Commando Elite. Anything else is just a total.
Everything else is just a total. No longer in possession of one's faculties. 3 fries short of a happy meal. Wacko!
Prius got squashed by a semi-truck, and the driver just laughed. He didn't give a full lip. Buddy, you better man up with Man-O-Rama. If you just can't seem to find a chick into who you can put your devotion, son, you should man up with Man-O-Rama. Come hear what you should have learned when you was a lad. If only you'd not had that sorry excuse for a ginger nuts for sitting a little bigger. Guys from work want to grab a beer, but you decline because you're just too busy. Man, you need to man up. Come on, suck it up, buttercup. Oh, buddy, you just better man up with Man-O-Rama.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 11 of Man-O-Rama. Tonight, of course, I'm your producer, the Goat Father, always here, always eating a bit of hay, and maybe, as Gary Ambrosia would say, the human trash compactor. With me tonight is the host. What can we say? If you threw a Jedi in a pit with him, he would die. So it's a good thing that Luke didn't have him on shift today. It's Rancor Steve. Say hello.
Well, howdy, everybody. I'm good to be here. I'm good to get this show going on a roll or a steamroll, however you want to say it, y'all. It's good to be here. Everyone in the chat, everyone in the panel.
And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new member of the panel. This new gentleman to the show may seem pleasant, but he would sooner beat you with a top hat if he decided to talk smack about his team. It's Vincent.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, welcome to the show. We're going to have fun with you here, that's for sure. And of course, we always have the fight of good and evil. Sometimes it's robots duking it out, but this man more than likely hates Megatron but loves transforming semi-trucks. It's the Comic Relief Crusader.
Hello.
Oh man, it is good. It is good to be here. I know Jeff is going to be here a little bit later, and Andy as well. But I just want to get down to it. How was your guys' weeks been? Weeks? Wow, it's like I haven't been here for a while. Sorry, my education got to me. Week. We'll go with that. Vincent, how was your week?
My week was moderately neato so far. We still have a couple of days to go. But I had a bit of dental work done, which is kind of boring a wild hair up my butt. But other than that, I'm good to go.
Awesome. And Mike, how was your week?
Yeah, not too shabby. Started out pretty good and hoping the rest just eases right into awesomeness.
Heck yeah. Someone there's back music going in the background. I heard something. I don't know. Anyways, my week's been good. I did a lot of work building things for my wife, which is always fun. Yeah, not too bad. It's got a little hectic at the beginning, but it's kind of calming down. It'll be a nice weekend. I ended up watching all the John Wick movies this weekend, so that was fun.
Ooh,
That was fun.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
Was it
I was
IKEA
like,
that you were
yes.
building?
What?
Was it IKEA that you were building?
No, we got it from Home Depot. My
Ooh.
wife wanted me. For Christmas she wanted to get. I think it's called a Hutch or something like that, Hutchinson or so. I don't know. Pretty much a bunch of drawers and dressers and stuff. It's that kind of thing. So I was building it and still need to finish building it. There's some few confusions that I'm frustrated about, but it's all factory made. But if it makes her happy, I'm good. So
There you go.
IKEA Lifestyle Solutions made from particle board.
Exactly.
come on in. You may never leave. 'Cause
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know,
stay
has
for our
anyone- have you-
meatballs.
I wish I could do that. Just follow the lines on the floor.
Have you guys ever been lost in IKEA before?
Never. Because they have
Well,
the nice
my-
little stickers on the floors with the arrows of where to go,
And standing orders are if I go to IKEA with anyone, if they can't find me or they think I'm lost, go up to the cafeteria because I'm having Swedish meatballs.
Go. There you go. IKEA.
These are good. They're yummy.
Jan Pinne Jemini.
After that, they'll have some yogurt and fruits.
Come.
I couldn't help it.
I remember I went with my buddy in college to IKEA, and we got lost. He was looking for a desk, and all I can hear was Steve off in the distance. And I was like, oh man. And he didn't decide to call me, just started yelling. I was like, oh. 3 days later, I found him.
Was he in the ball pit?
Yeah, that's where I found him too. I was like, why are you playing with balls? He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm all
It smells
confused,
like
man.
pee in here.
Don't lick it, all right? Calm down, man.
Oh, God.
So I told my wife, I was like, next time I'll just build you one from scratch. Because you know the factory, like when you buy something online, it's like one little dot. That's it. And then that's where you put the screw in. You spend half the time trying to actually get the screw in. And I'll just build you out of oak. We'll just leave it here.
Got to use a magnifying glass and find the dot.
Exactly. Oh man.
I will plane the boards myself. I will hammer and nail.
I'm actually building a deck, and we had to plane it, and we had to do all these things. Oh man, it was crazy.
See that mighty redwood? I will cut that down and make a hutch entirely of that.
500 miles. Give you my seed.
And it'll be all one piece. I'll plane it by hand.
It'll be flame retarded.
That's right. I'll even add a cuckoo clock on top.
I will fashion a picnic table from the finest California redwood. That's 100 years old from a tree I will plant in the morning.
I'm willing to bet that it might just be that time. What do you think, buddy?
Ooh. So our first segment of the night is, instead of doing "Give Me That Headline," we're gonna do and tweet. We'll do the gym girl. This is something that's been kind of hilarious and a time like not time. Jeez, come on, Steve. Dude, you know the thing. Come on, man. It's gonna be the mystery of this whole thing. So there was a lady who made a TikTok video, and there's a bunch of people that you'll see recently, specifically women that show themselves lifting weights, and guys do this too. By the way, I just want everyone to know, don't film yourself at a gym. Just don't. It's stupid. People are going to walk in front of your camera no matter what because they don't care. They're there to lift weights. Yeah. And so this girl decided to make a TikTok video, and there was a guy behind her in this image, and he's watching her, and she thinks, oh, he's creeping on me, and it gets pretty crazy. And he goes over and wants to help her, and she's like, no, and she's saying all these crazy things, and it gets to the point where in my head he's just waiting for her to finish whatever TikTok, Snapchat, whatever you want to call it these days. He's like, I just want to lift weights. Why? This is crazy. And we'll start with that. There's 3 images. We'll go step by step. There's a timeline to this hilariousness. And I just want to hear what you guys think about people specifically filming themselves at gyms. I know women do it. Guys do it a lot. There's a lot of guys that do it, and then they get butthurt when people walk in front of their camera or their phone or whatever they want to use. But Vincent, what do you think of this whole entire ordeal of like how she approached everything and all that?
Actually, what I think it is, it's just about as blatant a case of malignant narcissism as you can think of. You know, because it says so right there on the photo that you guys are showing. I feel so grossed out at times because, you know, sexualization, blah blah blah. Yet, you know, please, we all know the kind of people who do that at the gym, you know, are people who want attention. I'd say a good 90% of the people who go to the gym go to work out. They don't film themselves. They go there, they listen to music, they do their thing for an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if they're dedicated. And then, they're on their merry way. But, this, I mean, it not only does it smack of narcissism, it's just like so contrived when you look at it. Like she actually sat there and waited for somebody, to come up and want to use the machine or, whatever she was doing. It's just, I don't know. I live in the wrong timeline, I guess.
We all do. It's okay. There's an app for that. Atlas. You seem like the guy who goes to the gym and just gets jacked ripped like the Rock. What I've been waiting for that joke all day.
Far from it, my dude. There's no way I go to a gym. This is all natural, Atlas. So, no, I mean this is ridiculous. It's like most of these women, and you know what? I suppose there's a few guys too, that will buy a gym membership just so they can go on TikTok and make it look like they're just so fit and getting ripped and whatnot. And they only do like maybe, like you said, like 2 or 3 reps, and that's about it, right? Like, join me on my fitness journey, whatever. And then, just somebody happens to look their way towards the camera. And here's the thing. If somebody in the background knows that you're filming, just for some odd reason, it's almost like a natural inkling to look at the camera out of natural curiosity, because you're wondering, are they still filming? Are they done? Like, some people do not like to be on camera. And, so more than likely, and I'm not saying this is the case, but more than likely, maybe he just doesn't like to be on camera. And, she just has to cry some sort of victim mentality. Oh my God, I'm so grossed out. He's looking at me. Like, get over yourself. Maybe he just doesn't want to be on camera on the machine that he just happens to be on. Like, come on.
In the video, she
pity
puts,
points.
I don't get this where she goes underage 21.
Yeah,
that's the one that's baffled me all week. I'm like, underage 21. You're 21. You're not on. What? Okay. I'm not going to read all of this because it's pretty crazy. But go to the next image that
maybe
I found.
Matt isn't she good at?
Yeah. So there's this. I'm not going to read all of it, but she goes into detail, and I did some sleuthing on this. This was some man challenge here, and I sleuthed this out. And she pretty much, I don't know where it was. I saw it on Twitter, and I snagged it. And she's going through and going through the story about the whole thing, and she's kind of like realizing like, she's getting backlash on this. She realizes, okay, maybe this wasn't a good idea, and maybe this was something that maybe I shouldn't have done. Go to the final one. This is the funniest part out of this whole entire thing. This next image this cracked me up, and because she was talking about how men sexualize women at gyms and all these things, like women are not, we're not meat, we're not this, which is true. Like, we should value women appropriately. And if you can bring up the last final image, this one. She has an OnlyFans.
Big surprise.
Yeah, if you're going to go through this whole preach about men shouldn't do this or that, make sure you cover all your bases. And recently she's deleted her OnlyFans account because she got busted. And I guess she made another long novel letter about how she made a mistake and shouldn't have done that. And it gets to the point. I know, like the internet is not your friend.
No,
It
not really.
it will get found, and I just think
And
it's
like-
funny that she went on. What?
And like, tell me that women don't look at men at the gym also like a piece of meat. Like, come on, it goes both ways.
Here, okay, so Vincent, you might. I want to get everyone's opinion on this part. When you're at the gym, or if you've ever been to the gym, there's a big mirror, and that's specifically for you to look at your form. Like how if I go to the gym and I'm lifting heavy weights, I want to know I'm getting my form right so I don't injure myself. And have you ever got the instance where like there's a girl that walks by and she thinks you're looking at her, but really you're looking at yourself, so you're getting the form right, and then she gets a little jealous, or not jealous, get like a little mad or like insecure and stuff, and starts wondering like, oh, is he looking at me like a perv? Have any of you guys ever experienced that in any situation, whether it's the gym or anywhere?
I don't know, because I really don't pay attention to it. Like, you know, seriously, I just carry on doing what I'm doing, right? If and I'm not saying, you know, nobody looks at me. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but I honestly just don't pay attention
I thought it was
to it.
asked me to do it tonight. See,
You know, it's if you know, another thing is, if you take a look at this picture of this woman, of this young woman, right? You can kind of tell. I mean, maybe she's at the beginning of her journey, but she looks pretty soft. Now, if she was doing this long term, she would more than likely be a lot more toned, a lot more muscular. You know what I'm saying? She'd be a little bit more ripped for all intents and purposes, right?
exactly.
And this
Exactly.
is more like, oh, pay attention to me. Now, you know what? Hey, I could be totally wrong, and if I am, you know, I'll admit it. But meh. This is just, like you said, narcissism at its finest.
You know,
I
it is what it is. The
Oh,
last
go
time I
ahead,
went to work out, I'm sorry. The last time I went to a gym to work out, because you know I have equipment at home. You know, I zone out, and I'm sure you guys do as well. I mean, you hit a certain zone, and you're just like, okay, 5 reps, 4 reps, 3 reps, 2 reps. Okay, I'm done. Now I need to move on to the next thing. You're not worried about whether, you know, someone's looking at you or whether, you know, how someone perceives you.
Yeah, exactly.
The last time I went to a gym, you know, I walked by a woman and I heard her whisper. She was like, "Wow, nice ass." And I know I have a nice ass, but I don't need that kind of reinforcement. You know, I appreciate the compliment, but I'm there to do a job.
See it every day.
Yeah. But it's not like you're going to go ahead and, like, you know, call, you know, like rape or something like that. You know, like, oh my God, she looked at me. Oh God, I'm just so
You know,
offended.
you look at her, you smile, you nod, and you move on, and that's it. That's all you should do.
Yeah.
In an instant like that.
What
In a gentlemanly fashion.
Oh, I was just gonna say I've had not that sort of situation before, but I'm not a morning person, so sometimes if I go somewhere, you know, you're tired, you're a dude, you're just out of it. And I went to rest against this like rack one time, and this girl was kind of talking to me and others, and I just said something back, and she's off to my like left hand side, and I start looking down because I'm putting my head down, and she's like, you know, my eyes are up here. It's like, I'm not even looking at you. What are you talking about? I'm tired. Like, screw off.
At this point, if someone says my eyes are up here, I'd be like, what? I'm blind. And so lifting weights.
I wouldn't quite work with what I was doing. Otherwise, you would have like immense concern.
Oh, man.
They are?
Geez.
They're up here? Oh my God. What have I been looking through all these years?
Thank you for the on-the-spot correction, my dear.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. I'm glad.
But how we can kind of flip this to guys is I see a lot of YouTube videos. I'm not on TikTok. I don't even know how to run TikTok in itself.
Just don't need to use that trash.
Yeah, it's nothing I want to get involved in. But you
Wow,
see
awesome.
guys who lift weights and they have to film themselves. They have to look good. Here's the deal. All that doesn't really matter when you get older. Like 20, yeah, okay, cool. Like you're fit, your skin's a little tighter. When you're in your 30s, your knees start aching a little bit. Once you get to your mid 30s, you're kind of like, oof, geez, I don't know. And I think it's always good to do something active to keep your body going. You don't have to go to the gym, but do something, keep your body flowing, keep the blood going through your heart. Like do something active to where you feel like, all right, cool. And
what I do.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry,
what you
go ahead.
do? Oh no, that's good.
No.
And
What I do is I
but
have
I think
I
when
have
you get
a desk down in the basement, and I just every other day I go downstairs and for 30 minutes I just beat the shit out of it to the fastest speed metal I can find. And yeah, it's a hell of a workout. But that way I don't have to go to the gym and I don't have to deal with these narcissists filming themselves with their TikTok and their blip blop or whatever the hell the new app du jour is.
all right, so here's a tweet
Exactly.
that Snowdub, if he's in the chat, hail Snowdub. He did a tweet.
No dub.
I guess what 42 minutes ago or something, or something. I don't know if you took this now or a few days ago.
I took it from, I think it was like this morning or something.
Okay. He said men need to build gyms at home and stay away from public gyms. Feminists are looking to exploit you for TikToks. Stay away. That's very true. I'm wholeheartedly for that. I think if you can you don't have to get the crazy like you can get resistant bands. Those work really well. And I just think that it's once you get older, it's your body kind of changes, so you have to adapt to it. Like I know when I get older, it's like I'm not going to be able to bench press 200 pounds like I used to. I'm not going to be able to do that. Like when I'm older,
Yeah,
I could try.
you'll be able to, but it'll be a lot harder because, like I just mentioned, I'll be 56 in 3 months, and I'm nowhere near as fit as I was when I was in the service. But I like to think I'm still, in that range. I can't run anymore because I've got basically a fake knee in my left leg, but I still do the aerobic workout with the heavy bag. I still work out with the resistance bands, but I do it at home. There's no reason, especially since I've gotten older. I can look at women, I can appreciate women, I can appreciate their beauty, I can appreciate their physique, but there's no need for me to do it, every day if I go to the gym. Stay home, work out. The great thing about working out at home is you can go upstairs and you can have a beer when you're done. You can't do that at the gym.
True.
Unless you put
on
it
one
in
hand,
a container.
That's right. On one hand, I do agree with this statement, but then again, on the other hand, try to follow me on this. Why give up a space that you enjoy going to just because a few feminists want to cause trouble? You know what? It's like in a war, you're constantly giving ground and giving ground. You're giving it to, quote unquote, the enemy. Now, I'm not saying that women are the enemy, but people act like this, in a way, surely are. So, I mean, you know what? Up the game a little bit. Have a GoPro on you. And then you know what? If they try to call you out, well, call them out on the same bull crap. I mean, I know it's ridiculous to go that far, and I'm certainly not against, hey, making your own gym in your own home. And like I said, afterwards you can have a beer in your own home. That's great. But in a way, it's this constant giving ground just because a few rotten apples spoil the bunch. It's we've done it. We've done it in TV shows. We've done it in movies. We do it here. We do it there. You know, we do it in our public schools, and now we're going to do it in our gyms. It's like, no. Like I said, on one hand, I agree with it. On the other hand, take a stand a little bit. But that's just me.
Exactly.
I think Gary and I should make a video. We're filming at a gym. We take all our film equipment and the gym, and then have probably me. I don't know, one of us lifting weights. And every time someone walks by, I'll just bark at them.
Does the light look good? How's the light?
Does my muscles look magnificent?
I got a shiny spot on my nose. Powder.
Oh god. Do you know how funny that would be?
Oh my god. That'd be awesome. That would be so awesome.
Seriously.
This needs to be done.
But I think with guys, I don't think anyone really cares the only time you should ever film yourself at the gym is if you have a YouTube channel or that is your main goal of a career is help guys with exercise, how to do the proper way of things. That's the only time you ever do that. I get why guys want to do it. It's I want to see how I can deadlift or squat or do all these things. Well, here's the thing. You're just filming yourself for a few seconds and you're going to watch it and you'll delete it. I don't see the point in any of that. You have a goddamn fucking mirror. Use that. It becomes this whole egotistical thing. Look at a narcissistic thing. Look at me. Oh, I'm doing it. Whenever I went to the gym, I had a buddy of mine, him and we worked out like crazy, and I took a lot of substance, not steroids, but I went from when I started, I was 119 pounds, and I went to a gym, and it took probably about 3 to 4 months, and I went from 119 to 130 pounds, and they all thought I was on steroids in 3 months, and I was like, holy crap, and it was a lot of creatine and protein, and it was. Yeah, I looked like I was on steroids. I'm like, holy crap, I'm jacked out of my mind. And then fast forward, I stopped going to the gym as much because I started doing a lot of work and construction and filming and all that stuff. So I didn't have time to go to the gym. Well, fast forward to a few years ago, I'm 120. And last year I clocked in about 145 pounds. I was like, holy crap, I am in a lot of pain. So how I do a lot of workouts is I have a gym membership and I'm thinking about ending it because I don't really go because I do construction. I lift a lot of weights doing that, but I'm thinking about getting resistant bands, getting things I can bring at home, do my own home gym, put Spotify on the TV, listen to some music and work out and have my dog watch me work out. She always likes when I work out. She's like, ooh. She wants to jump on me and be all like, hey, you want to play? All right. But I think if you have a gym at home, it allows you more freedom because it's the whole I have to go drive. But I think with guys, it's just find a way that you don't have to be distracted and you don't have to be narcissistic. No one cares what you look like. Just the woman that you're dating.
Yeah,
that's all.
Exactly. And I can totally understand, like you said, if it's somebody's business, like being on YouTube or, TikTok or whatever, I get it. That's your source of income and whatnot, men or women, doesn't really matter. Right. But, don't go there to just feign away at, oh, look at me. Oh no, people are checking me out. It's like, come on, man. It's fake.
See,
and everybody will see it as fake.
The
Yeah.
videos that I
What were you
really
gonna say?
enjoy. The videos that I really enjoy are, the guys who go to the gym for the first time, and these guys are overweight or sometimes really obese, and they're
Yeah.
going to the gym and they're hitting the equipment, and 2 months later they'll show a video and they've dropped 30 pounds, and I love stuff like that because it's
That's
inspiration.
cool.
That is
That's
awesome.
inspiration.
Mm-hmm. That is.
But
But,
that's different.
No, and
workout girl on
and that's the
TikTok.
same thing that happened to me where I'm working. Exactly. Like working at this one place where I'm at, where I work over the weekends. In 6 months, I lost 60 pounds. I was literally at 320 pounds, and over 6 months, like sweating my bag off. Sorry, YouTube. I lost 60 pounds. I feel great. I've
That
worked
is
a lot
awesome.
of construction and whatnot, but and that ends up being my gym, basically. So no, I know exactly totally what you mean.
So on that note, we're going to get into the chat. So if anybody has any questions or has any, or we can pop up people's chats, whatnot. This is the intimate moment of our night, evening. We have hopefully maybe three, maybe two.
This is
Who
the
knows?
DNA. Ask me anything.
So we do an ASMR. We should do. That's what we should do. We should do an ASMR of doing chats. Oh God! There's some people that are gonna fall asleep.
Ask away, people. As I eat
Padre
this
asks,
cheesy.
I mean, if you don't see it as a social thing, I'm not gonna do it. I can't do it. It's so weird. But
I mean, if you do it as a social thing, then by all means, don't seed ground. But as you get older,
Welcome.
you can do it cheaper at home.
So,
Hey,
ladies and
Frank.
gentlemen,
My wife and I across the bar. She really digs your vibe.
what?
Oh my!
Anywho,
Oh, sorry, that's a me, Mike.
so Jeff, Franny, McNanny, how you doing? How you doing?
Doing well. How's everyone this evening?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Capital,
We are-
absolute.
Fantastic.
We are ready to rumble, and we're about to get into chats. I'm on YouTube, so I'm looking through all the chats. But, all right, Padre asks, how does Atlas perfect his fine physique? Yeah, that's a good question. How do you?
How do I? I don't worry about it. So no, I
That's the
shouldn't
best
say that.
answer.
No, exactly.
And
Right?
hot
As
wings in the other.
As I'm sucking down on a bag of cheesies, right? So no, like I said before, the workplace has always kind of, in a way, been my gym, right? So I mean, I've done a lot of construction work, scaffolding, stuff like that. And I mean, I'm 50 now, gonna be 51 soon, and yeah, it's like Indiana Jones says, it's not the years, it's the mileage, because you certainly start to feel it on you after a while.
Oh,
But
man. Yes.
but but I know guys that are in their 20s or even early 30s, and they'll go to the gym like right after work, and like, how the hell can you do that, right? But it's just if you got a slow metabolism, let's put it this way. This is what I found, me personally, right? If you got a slow metabolism, don't eat as much. If you got a few poundage, then just don't eat as much. Burn off the fat as you're working hard. Drink plenty of water. At least, for the Canadians out there, at least 2 liters a day. So whatever that works out to in gallons.
2 liters. That's that fancy math, isn't it?
Exactly.
Hold up. Time out. I'm a Southern educated man. 2 liters.
Yeah. So let me.
What's
let
that
me
in
look on-
That's
I don't
that's like
know.
a soda bottle.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, man.
So that's
Give me a
about a
liter.
liter and a half right there.
All right.
I don't know, a gallon
pull
of
up my
water,
camera.
whatever it is.
Pull up my camera. So I'm going to show you ladies how much water I drink a day. Okay.
Double that, dude. Double it.
Behind this is I got this because I saw Tom Segura and I forget the other comedian that he's on a podcast. It's two guys in a bear, or well, I don't know, two guys in a cup, something like that. And in one of the videos, I'll send it to you guys later, but he has Kool-Aid in this. And I watched the video. I don't normally buy things if I see something on TV or online. I got one Tool thing and I'm like, I would really like that. And it served me really well. But I see Bert Kreisner, I think. But
right
in the video, they started cracking up because Bert has Kool-Aid in his thing. And I found the video so funny. And I told my wife, I was like, I want one. She's like, why? I was like, because you could put Kool-Aid in this. That's the reason why I have 64-ounce container. And I stuck this sucker down.
Dude, I'm going to be putting wine.
I like how we might get it. I have OK Groover from Disney, which, by the way, I want to mention this right now.
Yeah.
If anyone is interested, the GOAT makes decals. He's made the OK Groomer, and he made the Rancor Steve decal. And his work of art is amazing. And if you guys want decals, you can find him on Twitter, or you can contact me, and we can make some type of proposition or deal or something like that. But I just wanted to throw that out there, GOAT, just to sponsor you. He makes decals, and yeah, he made me the Rancor Steve decal. I was like, hell yeah. But you're right, Atlas, that we drink water. Like I think at a certain point I didn't really put that in perspective until I got into my 30s. I was like, I should drink more water.
Yeah, and stay away from the sugars.
Yeah.
Welcome, a little late, but he is here. Andy Masterson with his awesome looking cup. And of course, it looks like he's got a Overlord DVD Doomcock figure in the background. That's awesome.
Plus, he's got the pinky extended. Yes.
Oh my.
Look at that. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I gotta say, between Gary, Steve, and Andy Masterson, we have some guys here that are just like amazing. This digital stuff is just, it's not great. Having people that can actually make things like these three guys, this is like a lost art where these guys are great at this. I just gotta say, you guys are doing a good job.
Thank you very much. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I think every kid that ever played with models should not have given it up.
Oh, definitely agree with that. And just to go off of what you were saying real quick, Steve, basically, if anybody wants decals, I can make these suckers real small too. As long as the machine can handle the intricate little details, it's good.
Yeah, so I wasn't really planning on it. I just picked up my water bottle. But yeah, if anybody wants decals and wants custom made, go to the GOAT. He's really good at what he does. And
GOAT, I need you to do one. I need you to do one for Steve for his gun, his handgun. For the barrel, I want you to make one that says "Hold by other end."
Oh, I should have seen that coming, but that was great. I thought you wanted me to make a short bus for the barrel, but that was even better.
That's the other side.
I went for.
That's the other side.
Mm-hmm. So here's the funny thing. I was at Gary's place and helped him clean his garage today. And I told Gary, I was like, what if we just rented a short bus or we found one, and we made a video for the show. And I pull up and I open the door and you see me in it. He's just dying laughing. I'm like,
Dude,
come on.
it's
We just
2023. Just say you identify as a 12-year-old and get on.
There you go. Nobody would argue with you ever.
So here's the thing. If I shave all my beard, everything, and grow my hair out a little bit, I can pass as a high schooler. A 35-year-old passing as a high schooler. That's creepy. That's some weird
California, that
genetics.
shouldn't be too hard.
So
You're gonna look like shave off the beard. You're gonna look like Mario Lopez from Saved by the Bell.
I have the baby face of I hate.
Oh God, with that pubic
What was he,
hair
Slayer?
hairstyle that he has. Oh my God,
Steve is our own Tom Holland.
jeez. I hated that show. Yeah. God, I hated that show.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh, see, the thing is, though, about that show, I used to, in between marriages, I dated a girl who looked like Tiffany Amber Thiessen, and she knew it. So, yeah, every photo, every selfie was like a flashback to that fucking show. So, yeah, it didn't go anywhere.
Funny you should say that, because I dated a girl who looked just like Elizabeth Berkley, and she absolutely loved cocaine.
You sure it wasn't Elizabeth Perkins?
Yeah. She loved cocaine.
No.
Yeah.
And my money. She loved my money. So she left me behind, but she took the money.
Say no more.
800 of my favorite dollars.
So we're going to get into the next segment where I don't got to chat. We just got distracted. Sorry, people. Whenever we do the chats, I want to try my best to answer all the questions. And Herc 130. I know what you mean. I totally thought you meant 9-liter on Google, and I thought it was gonna be like some like crazy like images I was gonna find. I was like, I'm afraid that's what I meant, Herc. So, but I know what you mean. That's what you get for moving really fast.
Forget my Canadianness.
Yeah, forget my southern side. But we're going to get into a new subject where we're going to talk about action-packed past and present. And we're going to go around the table and talk about it can be the past or the present. Okay? Past or the present. Action movies that we grew up on or we like now. And this just to kind of change it up. And if someone says something on the panel that other people are like, that's a stupid movie, you can do that. It's okay. But just know that's what they enjoy. So let's go with Mike Atlas. What past or present, any of the action movies, past or present, that you enjoy, guilty pleasures?
Are you muted?
You muted? I think you're muted. That's what it is.
And so I was. So
man, he is trying hard to take that short bus title.
Yeah, do you want?
I know, right?
Are you wanting that right now?
I'm muted. I'm sorry. I'd have to say Predator.
Predator?
Forgive me.
Oh, that's
Predator.
a classic.
Yeah, I'd say Predator. Bunch of guys in a jungle hunting down an alien in Guatemala or whatever it was. You know?
Valverde or some
big giant
other fake name.
guns.
It's all bullshit. All of it. You got us in here to do your dirty work.
Arnold with a very English name. Arnold with a very English name, but he has, the Austrian accent.
Yeah, that's why he's
still to me.
When I first heard Arnold Schwarzenegger
Exactly.
when I was young talk,
He doesn't
I
even
thought
sound
he had a
Dutch.
stroke. No, he's Austrian, which is close to Dutch.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wrote
a couple of 1,000 miles, maybe. Could just imagine
the
Arnold
trip to
Schwarzenegger
Texas.
with a friggin' Dutch accent. Yeah, hold on. I'll beat him with my wooden shoes.
Just be glad he wasn't your governor.
wooden shoes and hashish.
Oh, you gotta, yeah. I'm going to beat this predator with my wooden shoes. Yeah, the governor. That's right.
Get to the bomb or the chopper.
I'm the governor.
You do a really good.
Got to get in my hammer. Why, thank you.
Who is your daddy
My
and
dad's
what
Austrian,
does
my
he
mom's
do?
German. I just picked it up. Yeah.
Put the cookie down. I did that in a tweet. Someone said, I forget what image it was. They said, caption this. I was like, put the cookie down. No one commented. And I told Gary, he's like, what is that from? I was like, it's Jingle All the Way. He's like, oh. He's like, if
Jingle
I
All the
knew
Way.
that. I was like, I thought you were a movie buff guy.
Yeah.
Andy,
put the cookie down.
Any action movie from past or present that you
Charlie's Angels. Come on.
Wait.
Oh, like,
Okay,
that's
turn
on
in your man
everybody's
card
list.
right now.
Like, that's on everybody's list. You know, Drew Barrymore.
Oh, but are you talking about old Charlie's Angels?
Just kidding, really.
Nah.
Yeah. Old school Charlie's Angels? Yeah, definitely, no doubt. Movies? You need to leave.
I probably my favorite action movie is Lethal Weapon. I just right time and place in my life came out. It was great. And yeah, back in the 80s, like now modern day, like you got to go with John Wick because there's just nothing else like it. It's it's just perfect the way they're doing it. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Jeff.
I always revert.
You say Legally Blonde. I swear to God, I'll sit here and just listen to you talk about.
I would say Legally Blonde.
Can I substitute Clueless? No. Probably the one that you guys on Pop Culture Breakdown covered recently, and it pissed me off that you did, was my favorite movie of all time, action-wise, is Excalibur. The fight scenes, the sword play, just I love so much aspect of that.
You can't get mad at me. I was not on that episode.
No, you weren't. You're innocent on this one.
Thank the Lord Jesus. Vincent. Past or present?
Favorite action film of past or present? I have two words for you. Invasion USA.
Ooh.
Quite
yeah.
Never made. Chuck Norris is a god. I don't care how he looks now. I don't care how old he is. But back then,
he looks good for his
Norris,
age.
Oh God, yeah, he's like pushing 90, and
he doesn't look 90.
He's still, he's still fit and manly, and you go back and you look at this movie. I mean, Jesus, they blew up an entire neighborhood for a Christmas scene, and they drove through a mall, and I remember because I was living near Atlanta at the time, they shut traffic down in Atlanta for a week to film this movie, and it was amazing, and it still is to this day, and it's on Tubi if you have it, and if you can deal with commercials, it's great. But yeah, I watch it at least once a week because I friggin' love that movie. It's so over the top, and it's so if any film defines the 80s, it's that film.
And it had Richard Lynch with the weird.
Oh my God!
He always
Richard Lynch is like the
played
greatest.
a good bad guy.
Oh, especially in Sword and the Sorcerer, if you've seen that one.
Yes.
With
you need
to.
to.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Oh man.
Zusha. My favorite line from that
name.
movie.
Awesome.
Okay, so you youngins haven't seen Sword and the Sorcerer, so
I have.
Lee Horsley is out there. Well, maybe in the chat. He's this like swashbuckling, like barbarian type hero, and he comes along. He's sitting there with his drink while these guys are about to introduce themselves to this lady, and somebody tells him like go back inside, and he says that's a small threat, and he looks at the guys like so is that. Why you? Then he dispatches.
Sword is like 90% sword fighting and 10% dick jokes. It's awesome. Seriously.
You can't go wrong with that ratio.
So the past action movies I like there's actually two, and Andy took Lethal Weapon. So I have to say Die Hard. I know, right? But to me, Die Hard growing up, that was probably the best action movie. It's probably the best romantic movie ever made, and all around great movie. And then I would go to 95, I think it was May of 95, Braveheart. That's probably the next best, one of the best action movies.
But that's historical, more not really action.
It's loosely based, but there's war. But okay, fine, I'll say The Patriot. All right, we'll just go with that one. But right now, in the present, I would say John Wick is probably the staple of the new style of action movies. What they're doing with that whole franchise is insane. I never thought you could make action movies any better. I think as a whole, as like a franchise, action movies, because there's a lot of like single movies, action movies that are really good. But when you get into the franchise side, they really did hone in. Hey, how can we make a really good action movie? And when I first saw John Wick, I was thinking, this doesn't work. This is a really stupid, it doesn't work kind of story. It's about a guy who takes on a Russian mob, and it's over a dog that dies. Like, I don't get it. I get like if my dog died, I'm gonna go on a vengeance rage and take people out, but it doesn't really make sense. It's a story that shouldn't work, but for some reason,
it's the fact that the wife gave him the dog.
Exactly. And it carries on throughout the whole movie. And I'm sitting there watching. I bought it. I didn't rent it. I was like, it's Keanu Reeves. It's a B movie. I'll watch it. I'm watching. I'm like, by the end of it, I was like, I have to watch this again. I just watched probably one of the greatest action movies ever made. I watched it again. I just rewatched all three of them leading up to the fourth one that's coming out. And hands down, those guys that created that whole entire world, I think it's Amazon. I think it was Showtime that was going to do the Continental. That was it's based in the 70s, and Mel Gibson's going to be in it, which I'm super stoked. Right. That guy can do any movie. I'll support Mel Gibson on anything. Like, oh man, he can adopt me.
I haven't forgiven him for not living up to his promise.
What promise is that?
He was going to do The Colonel, make the movie The Colonel.
Yeah.
Never followed through.
Do you know why?
Huh?
No.
Because he's doing Passion of the Christ 2, and then he's doing the Rothschild movie.
But have you ever seen the trailer for The Colonel?
Yeah.
No.
It was on. I think it was.
Oh, seriously, you need to.
Yeah, he announced it, and it was the origin story of Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, he.
I'll kill all them damn birds.
Seriously,
but
with
them chickens looking at me kind of funny.
But no, hearing him going to be in Continental, the show that they're going to make the prequel to John Wick. I'm like, I'm sold. It's going to be on Amazon, but here's the thing. Here's a lot of people don't know this about Amazon. If Amazon Studio makes something, it's trash. If another studio makes it and then they buy the rights to that, it ends up being good. Like The Terminalist, it's done by someone else.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
And that was good.
That was so really we watched that show. Everyone, I know the GOAT. He has been hounding me for months Like, I don't know how, ever since it came out, he's like, you got to see this. You got to see this. And I was like, dude, I have to watch Star Trek. I have to watch Rings of Powers. I have to watch all these stupid things.
Hey, want to trade? I'll watch Velma for Pop Culture Breakdown.
Oh, God.
I'd be willing to make that sacrifice.
Seriously, though,
but then
about John Wick, if you go on YouTube, you can see, just type in Keanu Reeves 3-gun into the search engine on YouTube.
Dude,
he put in
he beat that guy's record.
He put in the work. He is amazing.
Wow.
So here's the thing. I met the Machado brothers, 2 of them. And when I was in film school, and I was like, why aren't you guys, I knew of them. And I was like, why aren't you guys in UFC? And they're like, we're legally not allowed. That's how they said it. I was like, so he goes, we would kill every single one of them. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And they were talking, this was about 2000.
Oh, the Machados
2009,
are cousins of the
2010.
Gracies.
What?
The Machados are cousins of the Gracies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
The Machado brothers were the ones that introduced. Chuck Norris has his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under the Machado brothers.
Oh, okay. That actually makes sense now.
Well,
But
he first met the old man, the patriarch of the Gracies, and he was training with him, and Chuck was like, yeah, he kicked my ass, and so he started doing that, and this is way back before UFC ever happened. So Chuck was into all that stuff way back when. I mean, the grandfather of all this was Gene LaBelle. And if you don't know who Gene LaBelle was, you should definitely check him out. He was the toughest man alive. And this guy went to Japan to compete in judo competition in the 60s. And he dropped his gi off at the cleaners, and they washed it with something red. So it came out pink. So he went out there, and he's like, well, that's all I got. So he had this pink gi on. The Japanese got very offended. They were insulted that he was disrespecting him. And he proceeded to win the entire thing. And from then on, he started competing in a pink gi all the time. And very interesting story, though. One day, Gene had invited Chuck Norris to come and train with him. And Chuck's like, sure. So he goes over there, and he's unpacking his bag. He's like, crap, I left my black belt at home. And LaBelle took off his own personal black belt and gave it to Chuck Norris. From then on, Chuck Norris never, ever wore any other black belt but that one that he gave him. And a bunch of LaBelle's students were getting, they got pissed off at Chuck Norris, like, how he didn't do our system. How dare he wear our black belt? But they didn't know the story behind it, that their teacher, it was an exchange between 2 masters, how much they respected each other and how much they cared for each other. It was like, and so it was a big mark of respect for both of them. So yeah, Chuck was going into all that stuff way before, and Gene LaBelle was the one who taught Bruce Lee grappling moves, because he was a stuntman for years.
Now the background's left.
Somebody's sobbing. Awkward silence. Let's fill that up.
Well, I mean, if you want to fill the silence, do you want me to throw a topic at you guys, see what you think, or
shoot?
Yeah, let's do that.
Do it. This is relevant to me in many ways, and I figure that it's a different subject. So, what do you guys think about real men deciding to try to be more reliant, getting a chunk of land? You can live on the grid, but generally trying to get a bit of your own power production, grow a little bit of your food, and grow some, or not grow, but have some chickens to get some eggs. What do you guys think about stuff like that?
Been there, done that. Well, except for the power thing. But when I was little, my job was to go collect all the eggs at my grandma's house.
Same.
Haven't done it,
gather
but I
all
do
of
it.
I would love to do that though.
Wait, do you mean live on the grid and have land?
Basically, either that you have land and you can still be connected to the grid, or you can choose to be off grid. It depends on the choice, but
I'd
moreover,
rather be
self-reliance and lands.
I'd rather be off the grid. Like when my wife and I watched Yellowstone, something in her brain clicked and she's like, I want goats. I was like, what? You want goats? And then she asked me, "It's like, do you know how to handle cattle?" I was like, "Yeah, but do you have like this much money?"
Listen, I gotta say that it was her that said she wanted goats and not you. And I feel better about that.
But does she know something about the goat father that we don't?
Maybe.
Question that one. But I'd rather be off the grid, live off the land kind of thing, have my own cattle, have my own, like, hunt my own food, that kind of thing. I introduced my wife to grass-fed meat, and ever since then we like that much better.
Would solar panels being completely reliant on that for power be off grid if you're not connected to the grid?
Yes.
Yeah, because you're still making power. You can also get batteries to store it and use it overnight. Even if you could get a Tesla Powerwall, that would do. But I'm a little cautious about things that can burst flames.
Well,
I grew up on a farm.
On a wheel.
I grew up on a farm that had 1,000 head of cattle for milking purposes and probably 30 hogs at the largest. I'll never ever forget the squeals of the hogs as they're killed, but I miss it. I miss the whole lifestyle. It was getting up early. Just even the raw milk from the cows were so amazing.
Oh man, I'm glad you didn't keep that pause, because that would have sounded horrible if you didn't keep talking.
I do. I miss it. I miss it. I don't know if I have the strength to live that lifestyle right now, but I do miss it.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like the smell of a pig farm. I'll tell you that much. Oof.
Oh, or a tannery.
Oh God. Oh yeah, because we got a few in Alberta, and I'll tell you, oh man, the smell. Jeez, It's something out of nightmares, man.
Yeah,
first time I ever came across a pig farm. Oh, jeez, it just made my eyes water, make me want to retch. Tell ya.
There's nothing quite as bad as a pig farm that, like, as you're going past. Well, that or maybe a landfill. It's iffy.
Well, no, paper mills smell really rank too.
They do.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
I'd rather take the landfill or the paper mill over a pig farm any day. Swear.
It'd be a toss-up.
Well, see, with the pig farm though, you can always wonder, how many people dropped off, business competitors or, people who cheated on their wives and all that stuff.
Yeah, and all you have to
They
do is
got
pick up
dropped
the
off
teeth.
at the pig farm.
Exactly right.
Well, see, with a pig farm, you get other benefits because, like, say you live in a state that has like a lot of restrictions, it has that tint to it, that bluish tint, and like where they frown on firearms, and somebody breaks into your house. You take that person, and then after you're done with them, you throw them in the pig farm. You don't have to worry about it because they eat everything.
Yep,
except for the teeth.
That's right. Happened to one guy in New Brunswick a long time ago. He ended up having a heart attack. He had a pig farm. He collapsed. Wife was wondering why he never came to bed and found him basically half eaten in the morning when she went to go look in the barn.
Yeah.
So, not cool. And of course, it didn't really work out that well with that mass murderer in BC like many years ago that killed a whole bunch of women as he lived on a pig farm. Yeah, so I don't trust them. Now I see why the Jewish don't like them. So,
Oi.
not kosher. Oi, gewalt.
Yeah, but bacon is so good.
I can't argue with that. So, the many delectable things you get out of a pig.
The price of eggs is definitely why I see more people thinking of raising chickens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for
Well,
sure.
I mean, it's you do have to feed the chickens, though, and that's part of the problem. Like the feed has gotten so expensive. And depending upon where you live, you got to watch out for hawks and foxes and weasels and all that stuff. Like it's not exactly easy to raise chickens.
No, even grain for brewing beer is ridiculously large right now.
Yeah.
Okay, next topic.
Hard cider.
Yeah. So we're gonna get to chats right now. So if you guys, I like how we bring up the questions now. And then I was like, oh shit, we gotta do questions. But yeah, I'm looking in the chats.
Most important question: boobs or butts?
Obviously, the first.
That's a good question. But
how about we embrace the power of and?
And yes, boobs and butts.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm aware of the open mic. Let's see here.
Like that one commercial says, why not both? So
I don't see any questions quite yet. How about the panel members? Since we're waiting on panelists, or not panelists, since we're waiting on people in chat, is there anybody on the panel that actually has a particular question?
okay, I actually have a question. I was told this is to Gray Bush Andy. So I heard when you get like a black belt, this was probably middle school when I was told this. When you're the top dog of black belts, does that get, when that person passed away, it goes to the next person? Like Chuck Norris has always been like the big top dog. Like when he passes away, they crown someone else, or
no.
Okay.
All right. So the way it works, like it depends what kind of discipline you're training in, because everything is very different. Years ago, there used to be this policy of it was called being a closed door student, which meant you got access to things that not everybody did. In some places, that's kind of like it still goes on. In a lot of places, it's kind of like been done away with because they want some of these arts to survive. Most of these organizations are run by governing bodies, like these big things that like it becomes corporate and stuff like that. Once you got into like back in, so the first martial art that appeared on screen in the United States was in 1945. James Cagney, who was a judo competitor, featured a judo battle with a Japanese fella in a movie called Blood on the Sun. And judo kind of lasted until the 60s, and then karate came to America. And the first karate school opened up in the United States in 1945 in Phoenix, Arizona, under a guy named Robert Trias. And karate was sort of it kind of dominated through the 60s. Now, when Chuck was born in 1940, and he went into the Air Force. Now, Chuck Norris is half Native American and half Irish. So he wasn't, and he was a ginger, so he wasn't really appreciated by anybody. But he was the oldest kid. His father left when he was 12, left or died, I forget which. He was an alcoholic. He wasn't really the best, which left Chuck in charge of, became the man of the house basically. And he had two younger brothers, Waylon and Aaron. Aaron was about 10 years younger, and Waylon was about a year and a half younger. And so Chuck turned 18, and he married his high school sweetheart, and he went into the Air Force and was sent to Korea, where he was studying judo. And then he was injured in a judo match, and so he's walking around, and he sees these guys like their heads popping over the thing, and so he goes in there, and it's a Tang Soo Do school. It's it's the precursor to Taekwondo. So he goes in there and he starts training with under the guy named Jay Shu Shin, and who he later sponsored to come to the United States, and he settled in Philadelphia. Now they have a governing body. They have like board of directors, things like that, and everything is very, very formalized. There are smaller systems which are like more like family styles. Like my teacher, he was handed over the lineage of his school. He grew up in Shanghai, and he was he trained under a master named Lu Jitang, and when Master Lu retired, he kind of appointed him as the head of the system. So sometimes that happens, but most of the time there's really not much of a hierarchy. When my teacher asked me to take over for him, it wasn't because I was the best in the school. He just thought that I had a good temperament for it, and would do a good job with it. But yeah, it's not necessarily anything about like who was picked and stuff like that. It's hard to even get students to last that long, much less be. But so much of this stuff has become so commercialized. Before Enter the Dragon came out in the United States in 1972, there were 150 karate schools or martial arts schools in the United States. The year after Enter the Dragon came out, there were 1.5 million. So that was the explosion that Bruce Lee caused. But yeah, there was there's no real, and of course everything gets political and everything gets like, it becomes commercialized too. It's like because you realize that like, you got to keep money coming in, and if you keep your standards really high, what's going to happen is you're going to get very few people that get to that black belt level, which really black belt level just means like you've passed the first hurdle. You should be training and training and training, but you'll get people that will they start dropping off, and then you start to see your revenue decline. You're like, wow, really sucks that I'm not making the kind of money I was. Maybe I should like not be so critical. I get more students, I get more money, but the quality goes down. But then they really start liking that money. So that's what happens a lot of times. It becomes very commercialized, and and then whereas back in the 60s when guys like Chuck Norris were competing in full contact karate, they were legit fighters. They were pretty intense. Nowadays it's not uncommon to see black belts just get their asses handed to them in a street fight, because like a lot of it had to do with like the point system, like because they instituted a point system because like there were injuries that happened in full contact, so everything became like a point system. So people trained towards a point system, and they realized really quick that things like tournaments were big money makers because you have a registration fee and an entry fee, and then you have a semifinal fee and stuff like that, and all this to win a trophy that costs about $20. That's this big. So you realize later it's like, wait, that thing's only $20. It's like and this guy just paid, like you have all these people paying into it, and then what happens is you get all these different schools. So whatever school is hosting the tournament, they usually use a lot of their guys to be the judges in it. So coincidentally, that school usually brings home a lot of the trophies. And the more trophies you have in your window, the more people want to come to your school. And so everybody does this. So everybody's got a whole bunch of trophies in their windows and stuff. Does it mean anything? No. There's there's some great fighters out there. There's a few shows out there that went into some of the details about different things. really what it comes down to is there's no best fighting system, because fighting systems don't fight, fighters fight. And whoever's the best that day at their system can win. There are things that are kind of dumb with some things that like they don't really make sense, and that usually comes from like somebody not really understanding the core of their art. But they will misrepresent things and so forth. They're like, oh, it's supposed to be this, but you go back to the original source of these things and you find out, oh, it was supposed to be this all along. So yeah, there's there's a lot of mythology attached to it, and the whole like registering your hands as lethal weapons, that's all Hollywood stuff. There's nothing about that. In
Damn
fact,
it.
like in New Jersey, there are no self-defense laws. There is assault, and there can be a reasonable, like, for example, about like 10, 15 years ago, there was a 17-year-old boy, just got his driver's license, and big kid, he was like 6'5" on the football team.
Jesus.
Well, he pulls out of this parking lot, and he's brand new driver. So he cuts this guy off, and so the guy starts chasing him, and the guy's chasing road rage. He's like screaming at him, yelling at him. The kid calls his dad, like, Dad, I got this guy chasing me. What do I do? So he said, Dad says, just come home. So the kid pulls in across the street from his house, and he starts running across the street into his house. The other guy pulls up and hits him with his car. The kid rolls across the hood of his car. He gets up and he punches the guy twice through his open window as he's screaming at him, and he runs inside of his house. Well, when he hit him, he broke his neck and killed him.
Oh, God.
That kid had to be go down to the precinct, get charged, go through the whole booking process. He was released to his family, but he had to wait until Monday morning so a judge could dismiss the charges. So that's something you really have to be aware of, like when you're doing things, self-defense. And especially now with cameras everywhere. And we all know how camera footage can be edited and put in such a way to make it look worse than it is. Which is why I have a friend of mine who was working. He was a parole officer, and he was in charge of defensive tactics and stuff like that for the Parole Officer Academy. And right after Rodney King, they went into more grappling arts because it didn't look as bad as like the bludgeoning kind of systems that you would see out there. Of course, now after you had Eric Garner, then they were like, well, no more chokeholds. Like, why don't we just go ask the bad guys to please be nice and give me your weapon? Like, it's people have watched too much TV where they think like somebody gets hit one time and they fall down. It's really not that way. So yeah, so long answer, but that's it, Steve. Like,
so Herc 130. I don't know, Go, if you can pull up that question. He actually had a really interesting question. I'll read it here. I have a question for the panel. What is an interest, hobby, or subject that you have that no one would expect? Like, I collect 124 die-cast race cars. That's pretty cool. The hobby that I do, Gary taught me actually how to make mold castings of things. And
that's pretty cool.
That has become kind of a lost art. Wow. It's become a lost art in a sense of film aspect that no one really does it that much. Like, you get in a few shots here and there, but it's become a lost art because CGI seems kind of like the easy way out of things.
Yep.
And when I make a casting or a mold, I'm preserving some history. And I would say that's my kind of weird hobby, and making models and all that stuff. But let's go around the table. That's a really good question. What's an interesting hobby or subject that no one would expect? Not everyone at the same time.
I'll start.
Okay, Jeff.
I have two. My favorite hobby is, I don't know if you can really see it that well, collecting D&D dice and putting them in potion jars.
Ah.
I love just collecting dice that I find amazingly beautiful and putting them in potion jars. And if I know someone who's playing D&D and is just starting out, I'll grab a potion jar and give it to them.
You're a wizard, Jeffy.
Yes.
You steal it from all the kids. You're like, give me that dice.
The subject I do as a hobby, I love and spend way too much time doing is theoretical physics.
Ooh.
I love reading and I spend so much time on arxiv.org studying and reading papers and doing the math. It's just, I'm fascinated by it.
I make action figures.
No.
But are they anatomically correct?
Yes, actually they are.
Nice.
Well, the female ones, like some of the male ones are, but like and I just got into that because for the main thing was it was just for fun, and then when I gave the one to my brother, seeing the absolute joy that brought to him, and like when you see you turn on the video here, and Steve's got his camera on. There's his action figure proudly displayed. That's like that makes you feel good. It's like you just created something that somebody's going to cherish and keep for the rest of their life. It's so that's that's something that's beyond just a. It's a reward that you really can't quantify. So that's why I do those things.
That's good. I'll jump on it why not? So Steve may or may not know, but other than that, some people don't know that I'm actually getting into manufacturing and that I used to actually design things for years and improve them, find other ways, find the flaws. There's something that I've been working on for a long time, and I'm on like the second, I don't know if second's the right word, but second set of dozen perhaps is the right way to say it. And I'm finally ready to build it. And these days, thankfully, you have like 3D printers, and you even have 3D printers that can do metal. So I don't want to do the metal for reasons of what I'm building, but I need it as lightweight as possible. So having a 3D printer is going to be like the best thing ever, because I can already make the decals. Now I can make parts, things that people don't know they want or need, but they do. Like if you've been on a ranch or a farm, or car guys, or IT guys, there's things you can come up with, and you'll hand them you tell them what it is, and like, oh, holy crap, I wish I had a bunch of these. So that's something I do. And other than that, there's so many things I'm capable of and that I've learned by myself that most people wouldn't even think I know. Someone thinks I'm like a walking database of knowledge.
Well, as for me,
when I was
no, go ahead.
When I was younger, when I was in high school, being the old man that I am, this is back in the 80s. From 8th grade to 10th grade, I lived in the tri-state area. I lived up in Westchester County, in Larchmont, and in high school they offered fencing as an after school activity, so I took that up, and I loved it. I mean, saber, épée, everything, and it was a way to test yourself and a way to test yourself against other people. And my father found a business opportunity down south, so we ended up moving to Atlanta. So when I get to the school and I'm transferring, I'm like, okay, you have a fencing team? They look at me like, I'm I'm like, yeah, I guess that was the
What
wrong
you want,
question.
barbed wire or split rail?
Exactly. So yeah, I ended up. I didn't do any sports for the first year I was there, and then when I was in 11th grade, they started a soccer team, and we were horrible. So I spent my junior and sophomore years wallowing in obscurity until I graduated. So yeah, that is the magic that is me and my hobbies. I still have some swords, but I got rid of the majority of them during the time of the unspecified virus of unspecified origin that we won't name. And I'd like to get back into it, but I think I might be a little bit long in the tooth for it. But
no
okay.
such thing.
Yeah, okay. You don't have my legs, brother.
Yeah. I love weapons. They're fun. Yeah, Mike, I'm sorry to cut you off.
As for me, no, it's cool. As for me, I mean, being a graphic designer, I mean, all the stuff you see on the top shelf right here, I helped design, do the production art for. I've always just been a cartoon nerd that way.
Is that a
Transformers basically is my hub. No,
It is.
God,
It is. It is a big old unicorn.
God,
Transformers. GoBots for life.
Oh God! Don't you dare say GoBots. Jeez.
GoBots.
It's a GoBot.
Like
It's about this big.
Rent-a-center Transformer.
Yeah, jeez. No, I mean, I've always been a Transformer nerd growing up ever since the 80s. And, like as a graphic designer and just, drawing away here and there. Eventually I found my way working for some third-party companies. And, so the end result is doing some of the box art and matching the colors for some of these figures that are behind me and whatnot. And, and like Andy said, when you see a figure that you created, it's rather surreal, because eventually that figures like these end up selling worldwide, and it's like, wow, somebody has a piece of my art out there, or a figure that I helped design and stuff like that. And it's a very surreal feeling, to know that it's out there and lots of people have it. As for a hobby that no one would expect, I like old media. Like when I was younger, I used to collect antique cameras, and there was this store in the town that I used to live in that would actually sell some of the old film, and I would buy it and take pictures with it and stuff like that. And now, because I do a lot of video transfers from like really old media, like say old 8mm projector film and stuff like that, and turning it into high definition, I find that I want to get like say old projectors at times, or like even a Betamax machine or something like that. And quite recently, yesterday, my wife and we went into this antique store, and they have for sale like the old phonographs and stuff like that. You put the old LPs on, and there was this one this old player where you would put the cylinders on. This is like before records LPs ever came out.
Edison
and
cylinders. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. The Edison players, the Edison cylinder players. And there was one for sale for about $575, and it comes with 5 cylinders. And then there was another one that had a basket full of them. And to me, you just want to save a lot of this old media before, it degrades to the point where you can no longer listen to them. And I like saving history like that. Or when somebody comes into my shop, it's like, look, I have this old projector film. I don't know what's on it. can you save it for me and put it on, like, say, digital media, like a backup drive or a thumb drive or something like that, right? And I like preserving that old history. And it's just an odd interest and hobby of mine that I just
there's
I just
nothing
love
odd
doing.
about it. I would love to do
Yeah.
something like that if I had the opportunity. I mean, because a lot of people, the way they look at history didn't occur until the day they were born. After that, okay, they care. But it's like, 1985. What happened in 1984? I don't give a shit.
I graduated high school.
Exactly. And the fact that you mentioned Edison wax cylinders is like so amazing. Seriously, there is so much out.
Because when you think about it,
no, go ahead.
Yeah. No, because if you really think about it, I mean, these came out like roughly 100 years ago, and how many people are going to take the time and listen to what is recorded on there? You don't know if it's music. You don't know if it's a speech from a famous historical figure that was recorded. You don't know. To me, it's a mystery, and I just like to uncover it. Listen to something that somebody probably hasn't listened to in probably 100 years or so. So that's what tickles my fancy on occasion.
Yeah, seriously, there needs to be more people like you out there. And because if
thank you, my good sir.
We don't seriously, if we don't, how can you not repeat the past if you don't look to the past?
Exactly.
I'm not talking nonsense. Ignore me.
No, not really.
Well, one of the things I love
because
both Andy and Michael, your stories about your creation and getting in other people's hands. It wasn't a hobby of mine. I unfortunately had to work here for several years, but I am responsible for about a third of the Harry Potter books from 1 to 3, the foiling and embossing on the book covers.
Wow.
That was me that did that. Seeing people hold that book or look at it or feel it, even though it was a job, there's still some satisfaction. So I can't imagine what you two feel like with your hobbies when someone gets it in their hand and look at it and touch it and feel it and see it. I see it kind of cursory with the book covers that I've done in the past, but nothing like that.
No, I mean, to me, it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, you got something on a cover that hundreds, thousands of people, will end up touching. They'll end up looking at the cover, right? And no, it's an extremely satisfying feeling. I mean, I can take this remote control and will that reach? Nah. It's rather limited on the range, but yeah. I know, right? But no, I mean, it's cool. Put it down. Eddie, play. Maria. You stupid cantankerous object.
So,
whatever.
The next subject we're going to get into is the manliest story. And Don't Be That Guy Twitter, the manliest story has been a fun topic to talk about. Actually, I'm gonna audible on this. We're gonna go into the craziest work story. And for me, the idea came from, we're not going to do the craziest man story. I'm going to do an audible.
Oh, okay.
I
had a really good crazy man story.
Did you say edible?
Edible, audible. I don't.
Tomato.
Guys, you put the pudding. If you put the pill in the bottle, you get you know what I mean?
Oh, you didn't
the Jacqueline and the Jacqueline and
every time I see the light come around, putting in
Like a
pop
wolf, you have the
anyways.
jiggling on the brain.
So we're gonna go into the work. If anyone's ever seen the movie Waiting, we've all had jobs where we have crazy ass stories. I know the bartender stories, like those are ridiculous. For me, I worked at, and we'll go around the table and talk about this and talk about the craziest thing that happened in workplaces. Like whether you were involved or not, we're not going to judge. But I worked at a burger joint in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm not going to name the name because if anyone's watching, they know, and like they'll tag me, and I'm like, I'm done. But there was a lady who didn't like her order, and she placed an order. It was a cheeseburger, and she said, I didn't order this. I wanted it with there was the burger joint that I was working at, you could have like a cheeseburger or like a cheeseburger extra deluxe or whatever it is. And I saw the guy pretty much just shake his head. Dandruff went on the burger and he's like, there you go. It's a garlic cheeseburger. And handed it to her. And I asked, why'd you do that? And he said, this lady has come in day after day ordering the same thing. I just want to spice it up. And she ate the whole thing. She ate a cheeseburger with dandruff in it. I was like, are you kidding me? I've seen guys fuck burger on the floor.
Wait, I missed something. What was in it?
Gross.
I'm not saying what restaurant. I worked, so before I did film, I'd worked in restaurant a lot. And I've seen some crazy things.
Ugh.
And I've seen guys who, right before I met Gary, I had a guy who I call Holy Toledo. I'll never forget this guy's face. I don't care what his name is. He's called Holy Toledo. He ordered a latte that was at, I think it was, 130 degrees. Now, milk burns at a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he wanted in almond milk. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you this right now. If you want to see almond milk explode, like shoot up, 100 degrees puts it at that level. And this guy, I don't think he had a taste bud in his day in his life. And I did it at 130. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. And I gave it to him every time he walked in. When I worked at this coffee shop, I called him Holy Toledo. It's like, hey, how you doing? I was like, I don't think this motherfucker knows what I'm talking about. And the best moment I had was when I was in middle school, high school, at a burger joint, and this guy just scratching his head, dandruff falling in. I don't know if you've seen the Waiting movie. Where that's true. Here's the thing, people, if you're watching, always be nice to the waiter, because the waiter will tell you a lot of things to the cooks. And if you're not nice to the cook, if you're not nice to the waiter will tell the cook, hey, this is what's going on. It's not as much as now, but back then it was pretty much, you pay what you get what you pay for, pretty much. And there was a guy that just scratched his head and dandruff fell. He's like, garlic. And I was like, that's not garlic. He's like, they won't know. And they ate it up and it's like, this is fantastic. I was like, that's just disgusting. So any of you guys have any work experience of like crazy ass stories that just make you go, why am I here? Why am I doing this job?
Yes, I do. My very first job. First job. I don't know. I think it was more of an East Coast thing, but I'm not sure. Hamburger joint called Burger Chef.
I knew that place.
Oh my God, I remember those.
So I I got hired
Okay.
at 16, and I was the burger flipper. 3 weeks into the job, they decided to have now this was 86, 87. They decided to have a throwback to the 70s with 5-cent hamburgers and 10-cent cheeseburgers. And they expected a fair amount of people, but the idiot manager in charge didn't think through how much we could actually make, how many burgers we could make in an hour or even a minute. We ended up having the fire alarms, fire detector, fire sprinkler suppression system go off, and half the building burnt down. All because they didn't think through about how much we were going to have to make, because people were buying them 10, 11 at a time.
Oh, Lord. That's a lot.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even think
that was
that many.
I worked there 3 weeks. That was my last day at that job. I just said, if that's what they're doing, I'm done. I'm done. No more.
Were you thinking in 2 weeks? I'm giving my 2 weeks notice. If you don't see me in 2 weeks, I'm done.
Yeah, I just said I'm done. I just walked as it was burning down. The fire trucks and stuff were coming in. I'm like, I'm not coming back. And they reopened, and we're open again for like another 15 years.
Hail Snow Dub.
Hey, Snow.
Hey, Snow Dub. Let's see. God, first job one job that I had that I think after a day or two I just never returned to was
The gym.
chicken catching. Believe it or not, it was chicken catching. Yeah, it's as stupid as it sounds, but yeah, chicken catching. It's this was like way back in New Brunswick. This is probably like around mid-90s or something like that, and needed a job and what was it? It was about December, and this huge. It was a huge chicken barn. It was phenomenally huge. And oh God, there were like thousands upon thousands of chickens in there. And our job was take the chickens, and we were on the top floor, of course, right? 2 levels. And our job was to at least try to get like 5 chickens in each hand, around their legs, right? Hand them to the guy in this transport that would put them in cages, right? And oh God, the smell and the heat, the humidity, and this is in December on top of that, right? Frig, just stunk to high heaven. But I learned an important lesson. Chickens don't really move when it's really cold outside, because I distinctly remember dropping one, fluttered to the ground, and I'm looking out the window, and it's just sitting there, right? Meanwhile, there's this big transport here, with like thousands of cages on there. I'm looking at this dumb chicken. It's just sitting there. And, of course, when cages get filled up, the truck has to move forward a little bit. Well, this chicken didn't move at all. And next thing this tire just squish right over the chicken, just pops. And I'm like, screw this. I'm out of here. The smell and then chicken guts splattering all over the place. Oh, jeez. Just forget it, man. Forget it.
You realize that if you had told this story before last week, your call sign probably would have been cock grabber.
You're holding out, man.
Jesus.
I got something.
I know I'm
for you,
holding
Steve.
out, and just as well, because that's the last thing I want to be called.
I think the goat has.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it looks like Snowdub may have wanted to join. Unfortunately, we are winding down on time. So my guess is I'd probably contact him after the show and see if he wants to be on one of the next ones.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, heck yes, Snowdub, if you're still here.
I would love
yeah.
to have Snowdub on.
I mean, do you want him in right now? I can send him a link.
If you can send a link, let's do it.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, that'd be full of
Right
muscle
now.
sauce, man.
So I was a supervisor at a bagel place. I'm not going to name names because if anyone's watching, they're like, "Hey, I know that place." We did for the 25th anniversary. We did a 25-cent bagel dog where it's a bagel wrapped around a sausage. Really good. Like
sex.
it's good. And I told the manager and the district manager, I was like, this is not a smart idea. And they're like, oh, it is. This will be good. We had bagels about that high up walking. And I was like, it's such a I'll talk to some people who used to work there, and they're like, this was the stupidest day in our lives. We would come in at 4 a.m. and just work on all this stuff. I was like, this is dumb. And still to this day, it's the dumbest idea they ever came up with. But I've seen it's usually involves burgers that people do a lot of stupid shit. Again, it's not as much now. If you go to the South, maybe. But I say, you know what? And I tell Gary this. I was like, hey, look, you got to be nice to the waiters or the people on the cash register because you never know what's going to come back. Like if food, like here's the thing. If I get a meal and it's wrong, I'm never taking it back.
Correct.
Because I know what the fuck's gonna happen.
You never ever send food back ever.
Yeah.
You never.
Ask for it to be taken off the bill.
Up.
You ask for it to be taken off the bill when you're done, and don't go back. But you will be. And anyone who's eaten fast food, especially at some place that's been busy, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you have eaten a hamburger that's fallen on the floor. It's just inevitable. Now, all right. So, I was working on the night crew back in the 90s. I started working overnights in a supermarket because I had to figure out a way to keep working full time, but take daytime classes where everyone was like my age and not ancient, like 30. So I started working overnights, and I was working in this one store, and we had this my friend Ron, and Ron was about 6'4", real skinny black fellow with a really bad stutter, and the guy that was technically in charge of the night crew did not like black people, and so he was always looking to screw over Ron, and I was always running interference and stuff. So one night, Ron comes in, and they had a big problem in his apartment building, and he didn't get any sleep, and he was exhausted. So he's working in the juice aisle, and he's like, he must have weighed maybe about 140 pounds at 6'3". So he was skinny as a rail. So he goes into the juice aisle, and he gets down on the second shelf to the bottom, and he moves everything forward, and he climbs into the back of the shelf, and it's a 24-hour store, and he falls asleep.
Oh, God.
So these two girls come in to do some shopping, and she pulls this bottle of juice out, and she sees this black man's face. She drops the glass bottle of juice, and they both go running out of the store. It wakes him up. He smacks his head on the top of the shelf, and of course, because he stuttered so bad, he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I run over there, and he's trying to get out, and I'm like, dude, what happened? He's like, that was much better than the time I had somebody shit themselves and shake it out through their pants all the way out through the store.
This is a California thing, isn't it?
Andy, you told me you weren't going to tell that story.
The worst one ever. The worst one ever was we had the one utility clerk, this guy Wayne, and Wayne was, he's a little guy, very effeminate, but like, funny as hell, and he, always got. You never had to worry about anything not getting done on his shift when he was on. And one day he's just, nope, I don't care. You can fire me. I am not cleaning that up. I am not doing it. Like, dude, what's the matter? Like, go look in the men's room. Well, you walk in the men's room and there's this trash can there. It didn't have a lid on. It's just a trash can that sat there. And inside the trash can was laying an open jar of Vaseline and a foot-long pepperoni stick.
Oh, God.
Where somebody just checked the oil because you could see the dipstick marks on it.
Oh, jeez.
So no one was going to believe this. So they grabbed the Polaroid and took pictures and sent it to the main office.
That's disgusting.
Yes,
Gross.
but this is the kind of thing, like when COVID hit and everybody was like freaking out, like everybody wearing their mask and stuff like that. I have seen how vile people are. Until you've worked in retail and especially a food store where you find like, pieces of food chewed up and spit out on the shelf. You see like, packages of hamburger with handfuls of meat taken out of it. You see people like, scratching their balls and then going hand on the bananas. You don't want to know a lot of these things, but suffice to say that like, if you're counting on the manners of your fellow human beings to protect you from something, trust your immune system. Trust your immune system because you are going to be exposed to these things, whether you like it or not.
Hey, real quick, Andy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you up. Keep what you're thinking of, keep that in your mind real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, we had no idea this was going to happen tonight. We have, and I will sacrifice my slot for this gentleman, we have Snowdub that will be joining us tonight. So in that particular case, I'll go ahead and say this.
I make this sacrifice.
And Snowdub, welcome to the show. Let me hop off real quick and
Hey guys.
Hey Snow.
Hey Snowdub.
Hey there.
I feel bad you had to sacrifice somebody for my admission into the show here.
He volunteered.
It was only good. You're fine.
Oh, okay.
He volunteered his tribute.
Excellent. Excellent. I didn't know if you wanted me to come on as Snowdub or bring Jolly on. I wasn't sure.
Potato.
You're gonna come at Cinderella.
True, they're both the same thing. Well, at least if I bring Jolly on,
there we go.
Him and Andy can have matching shirts here.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Before too long, we'll be able to have matching jollies.
Dude, I'm glad Snowdub.
Though.
Now we're talking.
You make pills for that, Andy.
Well, as long as the peen is accurate in size, that's all that matters.
I'm trying to track down miniature Oakleys. That's the only problem.
Oh, yeah, these were special order.
Yeah.
These suckers
I
are
just
real.
want to say one thing. I'm glad Snowdub is here. I'm glad Vincent. Two new guests on the show. I'm glad that you guys are here. I know we talked a lot. It's good to see you, Snowdub. I'm glad you guys are here. Whatever. I had a little too much to drink. Whatever.
It's okay. I'm touching myself right now. I'm pretty excited.
I bet you are. You need a magnifying glass?
Yeah.
They're built into the glasses, so we're good.
Virtual reality for the win.
We got those prescription.
Yes, in fact, you're all wearing wigs.
Who told you?
Oh, wait. Wrong glasses.
What?
Never mind.
Snowdub, have you ever thought of doing I'm gonna get the guy's name, the wrestler
Wait,
who
Steve, do that again, but when you take the hat off, say Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
Dun, dun,
Who's the guy who Who's the guy who does? Listen, everybody. Every time I sing, who's that guy? It's the wrestler.
A Macho Man Randy Savage?
Yeah, Macho Man.
Oh,
That's who I'm thinking
Macho
about.
Man.
See, I got you for 3 minutes of playtime.
3 minutes of playtime.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, right?
Let me tell you something. We're going to go down the squared circle, and I'm going to
So
jump
we're
off
gonna
the
get
top rope.
into.
Drop the big elbow on you.
Bitch for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Anybody who's not familiar with Snow Dub, make sure you check out the Cotton Council.
Yeah.
You'll be vastly entertained.
I will say this. I was talking to Gary earlier today, and I was like, dude, I'm in the whatever private DM, the Cotton, whatever. I can't
Cotton
think
Connection.
right now. Cotton Connection.
There you go.
And those guys, dude, I chuckle. I don't chime in as much, but dude, I laugh a lot. And I was like, Gary, there's a community out there that's just perfect. And he's like, what you mean? I was like, dude, how often do you get to see puppets just bust balls? And I was like, dude, I watch these shows all the time and I'm dying laughing because it's so spot on. Because I look at it as like, you know, when they do Family Guy, you can get away with a lot of things. The puppets, you can get away with a lot of things. And it's
almost everything.
What you guys are doing on your end, it's so, dude.
Team America, World Police.
I know, right?
It's the easiest way to fight back against the woke. You kind of throw it right back in their own face, and with a puppet, you know, I can constantly push the boundaries. You know, like with Mike Roch, my very diverse puppet. He's my technically gay puppet, quote unquote. I'm doing the finger quote. Yeah, but I really push the edge with him, and it's funny because technically he's a gay puppet, so I can say certain things, and it's okay. But if I was just regular old white man Snow Dub, I'd probably be canceled. So it's nice having that luxury, you know.
Oh, dude, and I got to say that Chicken Wings song, awesome. Love it.
Between me and Floral, the other guy who does a lot of puppet stuff, he's got his own channel as well, Floral Under a Rock. We kind of collaborated and made the Cotton Council, and we just rounded up a bunch of crazy cats that like doing puppet shows and threw us all together and made a basically a R-rated Muppet show, you know. So yeah, that's kind of what we did.
Sweet.
I've actually done some creator streams with Floral.
Oh,
oh, nice.
I was doing some sculpting while he was doing some puppet creation when he was working on Moolinda. And if you haven't seen our friend Tom Connors Jr. and his romance with Moolinda, check it out on Floral from Under the Rocks channel. It is well worth it. You get to see Tom dancing.
Yes, you do. In fact, I even clipped it. I think I'll use that for something.
Is that a promotion or?
Well,
what are you trying to sell us here?
Right. Well, he's not naked, so that's good.
Okay, so it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I don't have to bleach.
So let's get into the chats right quick. I know we might go a little over, which is fine. We have a puppet, so that works. But we'll go into the chats. So if the goat wants to pull up any chats, or I'll look in the chats or anything. I don't have my glasses, so you know, whoopsie daisies.
Your mother told you what happened with your eyesight.
I know. You jerk off too much.
I didn't expect her to be right.
What? Well, every once in a while I got to switch up and use your left.
There's one of my Cotton Council co-hosts right there, Mr. Snacks and Comics. He does the Gator character.
Ooh.
Very, very funny character.
Yep.
Nice. We're gonna have to get a rank
props to Snacks
made somehow.
So, Guatemalan Rooster, is this a what is it? Tubin.
Jeffrey Tubin. He was the lawyer on CNN who was during the meeting he was exercising with the shake weight.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy. No, this is not what it is.
No, Jolly wouldn't apologize for it. That's the thing.
That's a clip, Andy.
I'm pretty sure most of us have been called a jerk off at one point or another.
One too many times
Yeah.
for me. But I had an ex that called me a jerk off all the time. I was like, you're not wrong. But Christopher,
You need to tell Gary to hush.
Well, technically, that's more on her fault than it is yours. If she were doing her job, just saying.
Yeah, right. Christopher Dominguez says, Rancor Steve, yesterday was my 25th wow, I about almost said 25th anniversary. 25th birthday. Happy birthday, Christopher Dominguez.
Happy birthday.
Cheers.
Technically, it would be an
Man.
anniversary of his birth.
Cheers.
So you are right.
Exactly.
Man, that only
So, you know,
like how I saved you there. There you go.
Thank you very much. 25 years. Oh man.
Yeah, that only seems like 30 years ago for me.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
That was 10 years for me. So okay, so I have a funny 25-year and 25-year anniversary of birthday. Sure, let's go with that. Whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm the host. When I lived in LA, it was the first time I ever got blacked out. And I had a buddy of mine that bought me a glass jar this big, and he stuffed a Kobe Bryant jersey in it, and the glass broke, and I lost the Kobe Bryant jersey because I didn't give a shit because I'm a Celtics fan, Larry Bird all day, and I told that. And if anyone remembers the movie Hangover, I had a puzzle piece every single night that happened on my birthday on my 25th. I don't remember it. And I actually had to call up all my college friends. I had a bunch of film guys. I was like, dude, what the hell happened that night? And they're like, well, this is what happened. I'm actually banned from Denny's in Los Angeles because I was so blatantly. Now, here's the thing.
Wow.
If you want to drink. If you want to get drunk, not the best thing. I drink to kind of relax and just have fun. And I went a little too far, which is past my limit. I don't like that. And I blacked out. And I asked them, I was like, what the hell happened? They're like, well, this is what happened. And it was a complete fiasco story. And it felt like I was like, wow, I have written The Hangover for a college student. If there was ever a Hangover movie for a college student, that would be me right there. I don't remember anything of that night. And all my buddies had to tell me, this is what happened. And by the way, you can't be in Denny's. I was like, why? They're like, well, you hocked up a whole bunch and you just were a mess. And I was like, oh, man. And I was like, I got to get my life straight. And I was like, this is just ridiculous.
So you were like traffic cone hugging, asphalt licking Kashnickered.
Oh, dude, I woke up and I was like, how the fuck did I wake up in my own bed? But I passed that. Those are the young lives. And, if the young ones want to drink, go for it. But don't get belligerently drunk. It doesn't go well. It's a lot of mess up things. Go to the part that when it comes to drinking, I always say go to the part where you feel comfortable, where you feel relaxed. That's the point where you just stop. And when you stop there, you know what? It gets a lot better because you're not doing a whole bunch of stupid ass things. Like I got a whole bunch of wedding stories that I'll save for later. The magic carpet, that's real.
God.
But any other questions
Memories.
you have? Wait, hold up. The Goat Father has something to say. If he can pull that one up. Or am I alone? Hold up. As I look at this, I like to look at things without my glasses.
I'm not as thick as you drunk I am, Ossifer.
See,
We
Breaker
drunk
Steve,
him
did
home.
you ever say I'm not as think as you drink I am? Yeah. Look, officer. That's what I think officers think of. You know, that's what I think officers think.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
Steve,
drunk,
Steve, at
officer.
least you have, Steve, at least you have the excuse there. I'm not drunk. I just can't see over the steering wheel.
I'm not drunk. I don't smoke weed. Jeez.
You know, Andy.
I don't know what you all talking about. I don't drink at all. I don't know what you're talking
So
about.
everyone on the panel, there's only two
You're all
people on this panel that
fuck.
know that joke very well. The goat and Andy know how tall I am. And can actually testify to that. I'm a short guy.
No.
Dick.
One might say your height is equivalent to that of something short and bust-like.
In all fairness,
You're a
in all
wee
fairness.
man. That's all it is. You're a wee man.
I'm sorry, Snub. I didn't mean to cut you off with that.
It's like you only need a ladder to get out of a pothole.
He's
You're
got to
not
look
tiny
up
at
to look
all.
down.
That's right.
Anyway, apologize, Snub. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I was gonna say I'm not drunk. I'm doing the new TikTok dance.
So drunk confirmed.
You know what? I have an idea. All right, somebody has to come up with a really stupid contest, and the winner of it gets to force Steve to do the Wednesday Addams dance.
Ooh. Oh, I like that.
I don't know that dance.
You
need to learn it.
You will.
Oh, now I know it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know, the greatest thing about that dance was IMDbing the actress and realizing she was 21, so you didn't feel completely like a pervert.
Oh, dude, forget it. Like, I remember watching Alyssa Milano go for the full spectrum from being an adorable little kid to a hot chick to a friggin' psychotic Karen. It's like...
Yeah.
Look, I knitted a mask.
Yeah.
You watch her in Commando, and Schwarzenegger buys her ice cream, and then the next thing you know, you're finding a gift where, she's like engaging in same-sex relations in a vampire movie. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, go on.
There's Arnold saying, all that matters to me now is Jenny, and so is all of Hollywood saying, yeah, us too.
No, it's not. It's not. Jenny.
Wait, the girl has another question.
Why?
Did
nothing matters to me but Jenny?
Did anyone ever get a gift thrown at them from the monkeys at the zoo?
The zoo. No.
Yes.
It looked like chocolate, but it wasn't.
Washington, D.C. National Zoo.
I thought they were wonders. Those fucking monkeys.
Yes.
I've been to that
I didn't
one.
hit. Thank God.
I saw some elephants engaging in some kind of mounting behavior at the Bronx Zoo when I was a kid, but
and you're like, oh, darling.
Yeah. My parents were quick to move me away.
They're playing leapfrog, but they're not making it.
You learn real quick. When you see the horse's tail go up, stand back.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is true.
Talk about a 10-foot pole. Jesus.
So I remember when I worked on a ranch and they had to milk a horse. I'm not going to go into details, but let's just say from a person who's just started working on a ranch, it's a little frightening.
Was that the one called
Brokeback?
No, that's
yes, it was.
I want everyone to understand Gary's favorite.
We've seen Dirty Jobs too, so
Gary, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. His favorite movie is Brokeback.
You remember, you got to work with him tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. We don't.
Yeah, that's gonna be awkward.
Steve,
Oh,
Steve, get up there.
Brokeback-
Steve, go up there
Brokeback
on this really
Roads.
sturdy ladder.
The wobbly
Oh, man.
one, not the straight one.
Gary's gonna watch this and be like, "What about Brokeback?"
Brokeback Burrows.
Last I heard, it was Saturday Night Fever, so you must have upgraded.
Oh God.
Night fever, night fever.
We know how to do it.
I'm in tears right now.
The
Oh,
Bee Gees.
Staying alive. Staying alive.
Oh man.
You know it's a good time when a Bee Gees song comes on.
Seriously,
I know what Franny would know.
amazing.
Yeah. Well, his channel is
No comment.
Snow Dub Music and Entertainment. So
Yes, I do love music, and that's my small claim to fame. I had my first video and the most watched video was my viral Seahawks anthem that I did back when they won the Super Bowl. So I'm originally from Seattle, and
I'm sorry.
my condolences.
yeah, it happens. I was born there, unfortunately. It wasn't that bad, believe it or not. Back in the '80s, it was quite beautiful. Great camping. Fishing,
yeah,
everything. Yeah.
Could
I
have
went
been New
to-
Jersey.
Fort
Well,
Lewis
you
back
talked
in
about the land. I thought you meant the football.
the 80s.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, the football. Huh?
Good place
Yeah,
to be.
I'm here in Jersey, so
Yeah, not much better. Yeah, but
Oh,
I was a Seahawks fan for all those abysmal, horrible years. A lot of tears, throughout the '80s and '90s. So it was nice to see us win a Super Bowl, and I just happened to make a song at the same time that we won the Super Bowl. Pure luck, basically, and it hit off, and it got on the radio, and I got over like 500,000 clicks on Facebook on it, and
Nice.
yeah, that was kind of like my claim to fame. And then like 2017. My quote-unquote Seahawk fan base found out I voted for a certain orange-haired man. And I was canceled instantly. And fans stopped supporting, and nobody wanted to hear from Snow Dub anymore. So I kind of went the other way. And then The Last Jedi happened. And after that, I decided I was going to start doing something different. And
Last Jedi? What is that?
Well, it was the epitome for a lot of us
No.
back then.
It doesn't exist. What is it?
I want to know who
like
the
Highlander 2.
You guys remember?
No, I'd rather watch Highlander 2 on a 48-hour loop than watch a single viewing of The Last Jedi. Seriously.
Yeah.
Have you noticed? Have you seen the female officer that was busted for banging the whole police squad?
Oh yeah.
All the other officers.
So many memes about her.
That was
That
in Tennessee.
yeah, her head is perfectly round. She's got to be Ryan Johnson's little sister. It's got to be like they both have that perfectly round head.
She just got
okay.
Shaped like an egg.
to do a strip routine.
Okay.
Have
you seen the picture of her in the skirt?
No,
I'm not saying no.
Why? Wait, what?
Look, I lived through
I'm
the
not
80s.
necessarily saying no. Here, up, here.
Send
Well, okay, in your defense, I'll say that all cats are gray in the dark.
Right?
So when I saw The Last Jedi, I was like, why? And I was like, all right, I'll watch the last Palpatine. Sorry, Last Skywalker. And I thought I was having a seizure at the beginning. Because you know how they start at the beginning, all flashes? And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found quite a few people, but first one I really latched onto was Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, and I started watching him almost religiously after The Last Jedi came out. And he kind of inspired me. I ain't gonna lie. He inspired a lot of us to kind of jump on YouTube and start fighting back. I know Andy was around back in those days, so I'm not sure about the rest of you guys, but that was quite a movement. You know, we called it the "quote unquote" fandom menace back then, which was just a hashtag. You know, now people throw it back in our faces when it's like we haven't even used fandom menace in 3 years, and of course the woke left, media still like to bring it up all the time.
It's because they're all slow.
Well, it was a clever take, but of wording there. But then the problem with it was that you had all these other people just jump on the bandwagon, like it was like back in high school when I had my own terrorist group, and all of a sudden everybody wanted to join in, and like I had to break it to them that it wasn't actually a real terrorist group. It was but everybody jumped in on it, and you had no control over who said they were part of it or anything. So it's a shame. It was like, they ruined a perfectly good sobriquet there.
Movement, yeah. And for a minute there, it was kind of special. We really had a camaraderie, a community going there for a minute. But and that's back when EVS and World Class Bullshitters and Jeremy were doing what was it called? The Council? God, it's been so long.
The High Council.
High Council, right. And that was the must-watch show there for a while. And it's kind of where a lot of us came from, the beginnings, so to speak. And there's, a lot of people stopped doing it, kind of fell off. And then there's a few of us that kept pushing, and I've been a big supporter of Drunk 3PO. I'm a wrench on his channel, and I'm always pushing his stuff. And love that man. He's a good dude, and he's one of the few real genuine people out there. There's not many of them, but he's one of them.
Yeah, he is. He truly is.
For sure.
Yeah. For that guy, the guy spent 15 years of his life going around doing volunteer work in Africa and Haiti. You don't fake that.
No.
It's not like you say that I'm this victim too, because I've been
take a selfie of yourself while you do it.
Yeah,
that kind of bullshit. Yeah, exactly.
Well, on that note, we're coming to an end of a good episode, and let's go. I know I say plugins, whatever. I don't care. Plug it in, blades. And I'll go around the table, and if you guys want to plug in, do a plug. Sorry if Gary's watching. I'll be correct on this. A plug of your channel or anything. You can do that. Mike, Comic Relief Crusader. If there's anything
that's
you want to plug.
Atlas to you.
Sorry, my bad. Atlas.
Oh, you're gonna have to watch some sort of movie now. No, I'm kidding.
I know, right?
I remember. That's right. Just I am on my other channel besides here, Atlas. Check me out at the Comic Relief Crusader, where we talk about lots of stuff: movies, TVs, comics, figures, everything, and fighting the evil woke out there. And every Tuesday we got Titillating Tuesdays, where we just talk about anything and everything. And
I like titties. Yes,
I bet you do, my friend.
The one that stands out that you can hang around. Yeah.
So, and also just check out my merchandise over at Freelance Graphics. That's Freelance Graphics with a K at the end. For any merchandise that I got, and we'll see you there at the channel.
And who's next? Andy, anything you want to plug?
Sorry, I was distracted by the thought of titties. Well, titties over vagina.
It's really
understandable.
Titties over vagina.
Yeah.
That's the only way. Like, and
Gina Carano.
anyway.
Just think that.
Anyway, thanks to the chat for joining in here and watching the show. We're back here every Thursday night, except for special holidays and bar mitzvahs where Steve's entertaining. And we'll be back here next week. I've got the Laboratory of Mayhem where I make action figures like Snowdub's friend, Mexican Iron Man.
Yeah.
The
¿Cómo
man,
estás?
the legend.
Ay, ay, ay. El baño.
Everybody
Next
loves
up.
Mexican Iron Man.
With good cause.
Yep.
He's a good
Good
man.
dude.
And anything you want to plug, Vincent?
Not really. I think the only thing I'd really like to plug is me. You can find me at yes.vcharles on twitter.com. I don't use any other social media because, to be brutally honest, nobody else does either. And I'd also like to add, lovely photo. Ryan Johnson should not be allowed to make movies for any reason whatsoever. Knives Out and The Glass Onion both sucked so much ass. And I'll leave it at that. Over to you, Steve.
Anything you want to plug, the great Snowdub?
I heard there was titties, so yeah, I could definitely do some plugging. Wait. Oh, you want to plug the channel, right? Let's see here. Okay, go to Snowdub, click subscribe. If you want to see the old shows, the old Cotton Council shows, go over to my backup channel. That's Snowdub Live. And we got all the old Cotton Council shows. Right now we're in the middle of Tuck and Roll Season 4 every Saturday night. Come hang out. Our good buddy Tony Stark was hanging out with us a couple weeks ago. And Cotton Council Season 2 is coming soon. And I love hanging out with some good men that know some good man things. So see if I can come back again and hang out with you guys. I'll try to be on time. Yeah.
No problem. And go, anything you want to plug? On that note, Jeff, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, Sunday night, klrnradio.com/chat. I do my show Lost Wonder where I talk space and science news. And then the opposite Saturday, I talk D&D and role-playing games in general. And there's a lot of good shows over there for the you might be interested in, so give us a look.
And you can find us here every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time till 8 p.m. till who knows when. Every Thursday. I know next week, let me pull up the calendar right quick. Hold your horses. Next week I will be gone and we won't have an episode next week, just with a trip that I had planned that I didn't know was planned. And
Tijuana.
So then I know, right? Tijuana. Oh yeah. All them little bands and think hey. And the 9th. Oh yeah. So the 9th will be back. And we will have we'll have 3 episodes. We'll have our own romantic movies. I have a little twist in those of what romantic means, and I'll explain to the guys on the panel soon. You guys in the chat won't know, but if you stay tuned, you'll know. Yeah. I feel like an ASMR right now. Like, hey, how you doing? If you put the pencil down, you'll write something. What? No. Hey, so the 9th, correct myself. The 9th will be the next episode. So next week we won't have an episode because I'll be gone, but I'll try to make a video for you guys to check out on my YouTube channel, Rancor Steve, or you can check me out at Twitter at Rancor Steve. On that note, thank you everyone who is on the panel. Thank you very much. I know a lot. I know Vincent came in short notice and Snowdove came short notice. Thank you very much for filling in on those.
Bonesaw is ready. I got you 3 minutes.
You got 3 minutes.
I got you 3 minutes. Time.
I thank you guys. I thank you guys very much for joining in and jumping in and filling in. And thank you for everyone in the chat for making this happen. This show wouldn't happen without the panel or everyone in the chat. You guys have a good weekend. You guys can also catch me on Wednesdays on Pop Culture, which I won't be next week. I'll be gone. But yeah, you guys can. I would recommend watching Pop Culture Breakdown with Andy, Gary, Mexican Iron Man, everyone on there. And then I'll see you guys on the 9th. You guys have a good weekend. Be safe, have fun, and enjoy. And be a man. That's the most thing. We're having fun. Be a man. Women, be a man. I don't know.
Actually, can we take a pause on that for a while?
Oh no!
Are you assuming?
Jolly's going to be recast as female.
Don't chop the wang. Just don't do it.
We don't need any more
you guys
Ellen
have a good
pages.
weekend. You guys enjoy. It was fun seeing you guys. Good night.